Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Rasulillah. Okay, so now we'll look at the pattern of Thalathi al Mujarrad, and it's broken down into 6 categories. They're called abwab in Arabic. Abwab is plural of bab, which is a door, but what's meant here is 6 types of verbs. Right. So the author, rahimahullah ta'ala, he's only mentioned 5. And the reason being is the 5 are the main abwab and the main categories, whereas the last one and most of the verbs which have 3 root letters, most of the thulathi mujarrad verbs in Arabic fall under one or more of these 5 categories. And then we have the 6th category, which has precisely 25 verbs. From the entirety of the Arabic language, it has 25 verbs, and we'll look at those. But basically, this is it. This is all it is. So what does he mean by these categories? So let's have a look before we look at how the author puts it. So if you take any past tense verb, fa'ala, yeah, so that's the past tense, and then the present tense is yaf'ulu, you could say fa'ala yaf'ulu. So what's the difference between a past tense and a present tense? Yeah, okay, firstly, with a past tense verb, you got it just has the 3 letters fa, a, la, da, ra, ba, and they all have a vowel on them, and the last vowel is always a fatha. Sometimes you can have a pronoun added to it, which we'll look at, like darabta, yeah, in which case the last vowel of the original word becomes silent, is sakin, because you've added this pronoun of ta. But what's implied is that there's a fatha on it. So it's daraba. To go from a past tense verb to a present tense verb, right, you add one of 4 letters. We'll cover all this as well, but as an introduction, you add a hamza, a ta, a ya, or a noon. So the word atain or na'aitu means I went far. It's a good way of remembering these 4: a hamza, a ta, a ya, or a noon. When are these added? A hamza is added when you're speaking about the first person, about yourself. A noon is when you're speaking about first person again, but when there's a group, yeah, na'kulu, we ate, akulu, I ate, or adribu, I hit, nadribu, we hit, right, or we're hitting. And then you add the ta or the ya to distinguish between the masculine and the feminine, and sometimes the number as well. So you if you just look at this example, we've got the bottom. So we've got nasara, and then becomes yansuru. So you're going to add the ya. So nasara has vowels in all the letters. So to make it into a present tense, you're going to add the hamza, ta, ya, or noon. So here we automatically start by adding the ya, right? For the third person, we say nasara, and then what we're going to do is we make the first original letter silent with the fatha on the ya, so it becomes yan, right? Okay. Now this ayn letter, the sword here, has a vowel, which we're going to discuss, and then the ra, which is the lam letter. The default setting in the present tense verb, the fi'l mudari' as it's called, the default setting is that it has a dhamma, yeah, the u sound, and there are situations that make it into a, and there are situations that make it silent. We'll cover those further down the road, inshallah ta'ala. But for now, all we want to know is you have a past tense verb and you have a present tense verb. Nasara, yansuru. Daraba, yadribu. Okay. So now that we've got that out of the way, what we need to understand is so this is, we're going in small steps, and this is very simple. There's no need to feel overwhelmed. It's very simple. So all we've discussed so far is we have a past tense verb and a present tense verb. Pretty soon you'll memorize all the past tense verbs. You'll memorize a template which you can put any past tense verb on, and you'll memorize the template to put any present tense verb on. So don't worry about any of those. Right? There's nothing to worry there. So let's look. You got a past tense verb and a present tense verb. Now these 6 categories of the thulathi al mujarrad, right? The 3-rooted word which has no additions, no extra letters. It has 6 categories. And what are these categories of? So okay, so if you look at the first word here, nasara, you'll notice that on the sad in the past tense there's a fatha on it. Yeah, there's a sound on the sad. But if you look at the present tense, there's a dhamma on it. Right? That's the present tense. So you say nasara yansuru. But if you look at the next word, daraba, in the past tense, the ayn letter has a fatha on it. But the ayn letter in the present, the ra, has a kasra. Daraba yadribu. It's not daraba yadrubu. Yeah? It's nasara yansuru. Daraba yadribu. Right? So the relationship between the ayn letter in the past tense and the ayn letter in the present tense is what you call a category, and there are 6 of those. Okay, so there are 6 of these categories which the Arabs used in their language, and they show the relationship between the past and the present tense. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll look at these categories now in a bit more. So how do you distinguish between them? Well, firstly, how they go with the mizan, with the template, you'd say the first category is fa'ala yaf'ulu. The second category is fa'ala yaf'ilu. The third category is fa'ala yaf'alu. The fourth category is fa'ila yaf'alu. The fifth category is fa'ula yaf'ulu, and the sixth category is fa'ila yaf'ilu. Okay, so you might have heard that and thought, oh my god, how am I going to remember this? There's a nice easy poem that the ulama have put together, just some lines. You could write it out, you could make its equivalent in the English or whatever. So the first couplet is fathu dhammin fathu kasrin fathatani. Yeah, so what is it? It's saying that the first category is fathu dhammin. In the past there's a fatha, in the present there's a dhamma. So you just put number 1, past, present. So in the number 1, past there's a fatha, present there's a dhamma. Number 2, fathu dhammin fathu kasrin. So in the past there's a fatha, in the present there's a kasra. Daraba yadribu, as we can see here. Yeah? And number 3, in the past and the present there's a fatha. So fa'ala yaf'alu. Okay? So the first 3 so far, you say number 1, fathu dhammin, fa'ala yaf'ulu. Number 2, fathu kasrin, fa'ala yaf'ilu. Daraba yadribu. Number 3, you say fathatani, so fa'ala yaf'alu. So that's the first half of the poem. Fathu dhammin, fathu kasrin, fathatani. And then for the second half, you have, he says, kasru fathin, dhammu dhammin, kasratani. Okay, so number 4 is kasru fathin. You start with the kasra in the past and a fatha in the present. Fa'ila yaf'alu, sami'a yasma'u, alima ya'lamu. Yeah, so that's how it's gone. So it's a kasra and a fatha. Kasra in the past, fatha in the present. Number 5 is a dhamma in the past and the present. Yeah, dhammu dhammin. So it's kasru fathin, dhammu dhammin. And so a dhamma in the past and a dhamma in the present. Karuma yakrumu. Yeah. And then the last one is kasratani. Yeah. Hasiba yahsibu. Right, that's basically it. So these are the 6 abwab. So I'll repeat the line of the poem. Fathu dhammin, fathu kasrin, fathatani, kasru fathin, dhammu dhammin, kasratani. So if you just make this chart, you've got these 6 here. And what we'll do next is we'll look at them in a bit more detail, how the author looks at them, and we'll discuss them a bit further. Alhamdulillah.